Hi, my name is Martha, and welcome back to my booktube channel. I am going to be doing a book review of the fifth season by N.K. Jemisin. Now, I don't know if I've said this before, but N.K. Jemisin is a writer I thought would be very difficult to approach because I don't know, I think I've, I'm still trying to for my foray into adult fantasy, and I really am not into books that have very complex ideas or very big worlds and things like that. But I did try The City We Became by her. Just I said a bit of it, and I thought this is very fresh and interesting writing and very challenging writing, and I think I've been looking for that from an author. So I decided to pick this up, and I had wanted actually to read it in the beginning of the year, but I'm in this fantasy book club and we decided to read it in June. But because of things and work getting into the way, I decided I finished it just in the first week of August. So finally I have finished it and I absolutely loved it. 5 stars for me. But there are some things you should watch out for if you are going to read this book. Um, Actually, straight after I finished, you can see it there, right? I don't know if I should do that so you can see it. Um, Straight after I finished this book, I looked for so many videos. I mean, not so many. I watched a bit like two, but I looked for videos talking about this book because I was like, I can't be the only one who is feeling like this after this is over. And I found that people had the same reaction as me, which was confusion. So this book is basically about these three characters. So there's this middle-aged woman who is looking for her daughter because she's come home and she's found that her son has been murdered by her husband and her daughter has been taken by her husband to another place. Also, there is a season that is happening, and seasons are basically the ends of worlds, in which you find happenings like earthquakes, like basically the seven plagues. Earthquakes, animals are acting funny, tsunamis, volcanoes are erupting everywhere. All those are natural occurrences that happen in the earth. And the end of seasons usually signify a new age of the world, like it's a cleansing almost. So there's that, and then there's a second character who is called Cyanite. So the first character is called Essen, and she's the one looking for her son. The second one is called Cyanite, and she's about 24, and she is what you call an orogene. Also, Essen is an orogene. So Cyanite is an orogene who is trained in the fulcrum, and she is a fourth ringer. So you get rings every time you get more and more powerful as an orogene, and so she is assigned to this person, her supervisor, who is a 10th ringer, and they are supposed to go to this other maybe city. No, it's called a com. Go to a com, and there is a certain thing that is blocking their source of water, so they are supposed to go and check it out. So Cyanite is trained in the fulcrum, and in the fulcrum you have to, as a woman, as a female orogeny, you're expected to continue the breed. So you will probably breed with another. So her ancestors are Sanze. So Sanze is considered a good bloodline. So she's supposed to breed with her supervisor. I know it sounds so funny, not funny, weird, but this is the world that is created. It's a very brutal world, and it's a world in which does not care for origines. They are sort of the servants of this world. They exist to help the stills, and the stills are kind of the muggles, or the people with no ability, no magic. I wouldn't say what they have is exactly magic, but that's the simplest way to talk about it. So they are on a journey to go and fix that thing in that particular community, and you kind of, through their journey, you kind of find a lot of the cruel things that have been done to Orogenes and that particular species. They're not actually species. They're humans who just have special abilities. Um, then we have a third character who is a little girl called Damaya. Now, Damaya is she has been abandoned by her family because she has orogeny powers. And when orogeny get hurt or scared, they can destroy people. Like if if they are not trained, they can just if they have an outburst, they can just like flatten a whole area, like cause a whole earthquake in that place, kill everybody, like bury everyone around. So basically, in this world, you need to be taken by what we call a guardian, and guardians are supposed to, they kind of they like disconnect your power, or they negate an origine's power, and they control them so that they understand that you're not supposed to use your power in this or that way. um, so these guardians, they behave as if they're parents to these origines. Well, they're not really. So you see Damaya's journey and how she grows up in the fulcrum. So she has been taken by her guardian to the fulcrum, and she is supposed to be trained there on how to become a full-fledged fulcrum trained origin, because origins functions in this world, if they are trained, they are supposed to quell, like make everything steady. Basically, like if there's a fault line, you're supposed to sense it and like calm it down. Or if there's a volcano, you're supposed to take it down. Or you're supposed to use your powers to channel the earth in a specific way so that you either prevent or cause a phenomena. So a lot of the magic system is based in geology. um so there's that. So you need to understand that there are three perspectives. So I don't know if it would be too much of a spoiler to say how all three are connected, but okay, maybe to help you out going into this book, just think of it as the three characters are in different timelines, so they don't move in the same timeline. They're all doing their own things in different timelines. I realized by the end of the book that I would have to reread to get a sense of what was really happening at the time. So Jemisin writes in this way where she gives you just enough but not all the information. So it's also very, very difficult concepts to grasp. And she said she got this idea from like a science convention, and it's based on geology. Like, do you know how difficult it was for me to grasp? I was about to give up so many times, but the thing is, it's like when the chapter starts, I am not interested, and then when it's about to end like this, something interesting happens, then we are thrown into someone else's point of view, which I don't know, maybe makes me not like the point of view structure so much. But each journey of each of the three main characters is well plotted and goes to this boiling point that you will see at the end. There are various themes of racism, oppression, systematic oppression, that is, and I think colonialism is hinted. There's this thing about the colonizers. I mean, I wouldn't say they're actual colonizers because it's just a hint, but you get the sense that guardians are part of the system, or this kingdom that was founded by Sanze was created on a foundation of lies, that the winners wrote their own history, and that they are now peddling this as the truth of what happened to origins and the stills, and this is why origins should be controlled in this manner. And I get the sense as if guardians are this, I would say that like the cops of this world, they like control the origins. They even have slurs for them, so you feel it's like the origins are enslaved to work for people, and people are afraid of them. Maybe just not in everywhere, but most places are fearful of origins. and origins. That's actually, I never connected that, but yeah. So there's a lot of that weaved in to the world, and you get a sense that Jemisin doesn't give you everything, but she just tells you enough to be like, this is where I'm taking you, and just stay with it. Stay with me until the end, until it's like, what was that? Like, the ending is like, what was that? Like, I couldn't even predict where it was going, and I loved that. And I like that it doesn't follow the formula that I've seen in some fantasy books that I have read. I mean, admittedly, I have not read so many, but I've noticed a pattern in which we're trying to figure out who is good, who is bad, who is evil, who is, but here it's just different people with different perspectives, and nobody's evil. Or, I mean, there is clear evil in the book, but it's like the female characters are very complex individuals, and you don't know, you can't you can't assign a black and white um, adjective or character to them. So there are very many surprises, and I won't lie, it's either a book that you will love or you will want to run away from and not continue, which I don't blame you for, but I would highly recommend it. I mean, I know if you're watching this, you probably think it's overhyped, but for someone who doesn't read fantasy a lot and is trying to get into the genre, I would say I really liked it. Or it's just something that called out to me, and I really think it's an interesting genre amongst the sea of, not genre, interesting piece of writing amongst the sea of fantasy offerings that they are right now. And although I feel like sometimes it was a bit complex for me to grasp, and I couldn't picture what was being described, and there are a lot of descriptions, there's a lot of world building, like this is a completely new thing, like it's a whole alien planet, and if you're not careful, like if you don't pay close attention, you'll be lost. Like, there's the only way I could read this is by physically reading this. If I listened to it on audiobook, I would have DNF'd. So yeah, I don't think there's anything more I have to say other than it was a very good piece of writing. I can't even say it was a book. Am I being pretentious? I don't know. But I really loved it, and I highly recommend it. If you're trying to get into fantasy, it is not the best way to start. If you're trying to get into NK Jemisin, it is the best place to start, because I started City We Became and I was very confused, and I was like, what is going on? If you want an entry into NK Jemisin, I think this is the best place to start, because it's in the middle of her works. It's not too early in her works, and it's not too new into her works. So I think just in the middle will be okay for anybody who wants to start. And also, if you want to transition from YA fantasy into adult fantasy, I would recommend NK Jemisin. Yeah, so I will leave it at that. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoy, please like, share, and subscribe. Please tell me your thoughts on the book. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, tell me what you thought about it, and then let's start a discussion about it, because I think there is a lot to be said about this book. The thought of me actually having to start over again is like breaking my head, but I feel like it's necessary, because I was like, whoa, where did that come from? And look, I should also say, like, there is a past, no, one of the characters is written in second tense, another one, and the two others are written in third, in not that, no, what do you call it? It's not first tense, first point of view. Oh my god, do you know when your brain refuses to find English phrases? Yes, but yes, one of the characters is written for a perspective of you as the reader, pointing at you, and the others are just written from a third point of view, as them, Damaya and Cyanide. So yeah, please read this book, and if you have anything to say, if you have thoughts, please tell me in the comments, and I will see you next time in my next video. Bye.